You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me as always is my co-host, Chrissy. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm thinking I've been on vacation far too long from a job that doesn't actually pay me and is supposed to be a career that's fulfilling and wonderful, and I, for some reason, can't just retire. But other than that, I'm good. How are you?
I'm afraid I accidentally grabbed somebody's junk because it was not where I thought it would be, and it was real awkward.
Yes. I can see where that would be a problem. Let's make sure you don't eat in front of another group of people either.
Oh, yeah. Why were they hanging out in a bar?
Okay, yes. We'll talk about I won't get ahead of that, but yes, I have issues.
Also joining us today is Abby Sommer from First Flight. Abby, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, I am always thrilled when you guys ask me to come on here and chat. And what a fun episode to get. And Lower Decks is just joy. So I can't wait to chat about this one.
Yeah, I was listening to another Lower Decks podcast, Second Contact on the Nerd Party Network, and Charlene Schmidt referred to Lower Decks as a warm hug of Star Trek. And that is just the perfect description, I think.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I have to catch up on them this season. I never listen to it right when it comes out because it's before we record. So
right.
Yeah.
Before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers Carl Wonders and Chrissie De Clerck-Szilagyi. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10. And your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all the shows on the network ad-free. So, some sad news this week. Terry Garr is dead at the age of 79. She played Roberta Lincoln in the TOS episode Assignment Earth, which, let's just remember, was the backdoor pilot for a show that never happened, but did get referenced in Picard Season 2.
Yes. And Prodigy, for that matter.
Yes,
that's
Prodigy
true.
Well.
Yeah, they even went to the
Now, I had to double check to see that she was who I thought she was in this context, because when I think of Terry Garr, it's Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Roll into the hay.
Which, it makes sense, but in my head, Young Frankenstein is a much older movie than it actually is because it's in black and white. And I mean, I know it was made as a spoof of those movies, but because it's still an old movie and before my time regardless, like, I think of it as a much older movie. Wolf.
She was just, she was comedic gold in that, and in so many other things, and so many other projects. And while Assignment Earth is never going to be on my top 10 of TOS, I always liked her performance in it, and I always liked her. When you see her, what she did for the rest of her life, she seemed like she had a pretty good one. So sad to hear of her passing, and I hope that her legacy will live on.
Yeah, sci-fi fans will probably also remember her from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, of course. Let's see where I go with it.
That's where I went to.
That.
I mean, I like Young Frankenstein better too, or I'm sorry, it probably should be Frankenstein.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times I go, I'm making the yummy sound. Like, that's a useful one too.
I was going to make espresso. Yeah. Like Spaceballs, thank Mel Brooks, like Spaceballs, I had seen Young Frankenstein many times before I saw the source material for it.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the source material, I was like, oh, Mel Brooks didn't just make that up. Like, I knew Spaceballs inside and out before I ever saw Star Wars.
Funny.
Yeah.
This week's episode is episode 3 of season 5 of Star Trek Lower Decks, The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. Pour one out for Dame Maggie Smith, who recently passed away, because this episode is clearly an homage to the movie, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Yep.
Well, and I think the Cosmic Duchess, which is the cruise ship city, they said the size of a small moon on there. It's pretty fantastic. And just the visual of that, when you see the upside down garden on the bottom of it in the little bubble, I was just laughing. I'm like, this is fantastic, because you're right, it's in space. Who cares? Like, there's no up or down when you're going there. Sure. And I thought it was so fun. And the design was fun. And like, this was a fun place to play around, because you got to have caves and rivers and palm trees and beaches and bars. And like, there was just so much stuff in this hotel. And I think it was well done. And it was a fun place to put our crew, because they had so many avenues of strange places to explore in this hotel. It was fun.
Yeah, the design was reminiscent of Starbase 1 in Strange New Worlds, with those little environmental pods sticking out of the bottom.
I do really wish we would get to see the underwater dry pool, though. I was a little bit...
I don't know what that is, like, but I want to check it out.
Underwater dry park, yes. Like, that sounds interesting. Like, fish swimming around you as you swing and go on teeter-totters? Like,
see, I was thinking like maybe a small roller coaster, like if you surrounded like Cedar Point, with a
or like the Disney submarine ride.
That was the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I never went to Disney, so I don't know.
I don't think it's there anymore. I just remember reading it. Like there was a fascinating documentary on Disney Plus that they've since gotten rid of and is no longer available anywhere, because that's the nature of streaming. But about like the history of making the rides for the various parks, and they talked about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is interesting. But I think it's interesting, too, that this place is so big that, like, immediately we split up the majority of our lower deckers, and then Boimler is off with Ransom and Billups, and this place is so big they never even see each other. Like, where they're going, they're not worried about the nanites. They're somewhere totally else, but they're all still in the same place. So that just gives you a scope of how big this place is.
Yeah.
And it is worth pointing out that Boimler has slightly more facial hair than he did last week.
There's like 16, right? There's kind of almost 4 in each of the little clusters.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I do want to comment on something hilarious. When the trailer for this season came out a few weeks ago, Mike McMahon tweeted that they had to digitally edit a bunch of scenes to keep something a surprise. And it was Boimler's facial hair.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. I like that.
That's really funny.
Because it apparently gets progressively more throughout the season, so they had to hide it
funny.
from every shot that Boimler's in.
That's really, really funny.
Oh, I love it.
And such a Mike McMahon thing. I love it.
Props to the detail, though. This is, this is one of the many things I'm going to miss about Lower Decks, is that the thinking ahead of, this is a surprise. We can't even have, show Boimler with a beard, just in case, because it's going to be a spoiler. I love him for that.
Well, people would start lining up all the shots and going from less to more beard to figure stuff out. I mean, he knows. He's one of us. He knows.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, and before we even get to the hotel, I have to say the scene with Jet, when he's being wheeled in and he doesn't have any hands, like, it shouldn't be funny, but when he's like, the bats came out, the piranha bats, and I have no hands, he's like, I can't, it hurts like hell, and I can't even itch my nose. And I'm like, that's the first thing, that wouldn't be where I'd be thinking, but like, it was so funny. And then later on, when he's like running away at the end because Ransom's going to give him more dangerous work,
and Boimler's just like, Jet, run.
Yeah. Like, he's a minor character that I really appreciate in Lower Decks, because they've used him in a bunch of different ways, but he can be just drop dead hilarious when he wants to. I mean, the sonic showers, the street corn, like all of that. He's a great minor character in Lower Decks. I love him.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
One of the big stories in this week is that Jennifer the Andorian is back.
Mm-hmm.
And is acting as though she and Mariner have been a couple all this time.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's hilarious that obviously they heard the feedback that she wasn't in the last season and like this didn't have any ending or conclusion, and they decided to make a storyline about that exact fact. Like that is funny. Like, and that is just poking right back at the bear. Like, oh, you're right, we did do this. So look at this. Now it's a featured story. Like it's just too funny. And
You wanted.
the animation of Mariner's face when she opens the door and she's like, "Hi, babe," like the horror, and then like the eyes come down. Oh, I laughed so hard. It was so perfect.
And that she just takes forever to process it. Like she's just like eyes wide, stands on the transporter pad, and then like a few seconds as they're beaming out. What?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love when they get to discussing it and everyone's like, "Well, you did break up with her, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure. Maybe."
I was very clear. I said absolutely no words to her.
Exactly. And then when Talin is telling her, she goes, "Well, you know that, what was it? That silence is anathema to communication." And she goes, "Yeah, whatever. You're anathema." I'm like,
You're anathema.
I'm using that now. Like that's going in my lexicon of funny comebacks to people when I have nothing to say, because it was just way too funny. To end this episode, like she has some mic drop moments. It is amazing.
I mean, always, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to catch the nanites. Jennifer has the idea of using the old box on a stick.
Yes, I love that.
Well, the best part was it did work at first. Like the box did its job. It's classic for a reason, because it works.
Well, it only worked once Mariner powered up the power cell.
Yeah.
But yes, So yeah, let's go ahead and do the main plot, and then we'll get back to Boimler and his thing going on there.
Well, I liked this one too because I think it was really interesting when you find out that she's transferring, and then here's Mariner, we've seen her last season go through so much like emotional growth and catharsis and therapy, and she's definitely more willing to do some of this emotional work, and yet at the same time, when presented with the option of, well, you could just ride this out for one really awkward day and avoid it, she's like, yep, that is 100% what I am going to do. And you know what, that's kind of, I don't really like big emotional confrontations either, so I get that, but like it was funny to see them as they kept escalating the sweetie, honey fluff, like babe, and it was more and more pointed, because we've all been in conversations like that or watched people have those pointed conversations like that. And I think it was interesting that she kept just trying to go along with it, because it really came down to she didn't want to break her heart if she didn't have to. And like when she thought she was full in on this, she was trying to do the gentler thing, but also totally doing the cop-out thing, which is kind of exactly what I would expect from Mariner.
It's genuine, people don't have real. You grow, but then sometimes you do something stupid or do something that's in opposition to whatever you're growing, however you're growing, whatever you're growing, like herbs in a garden. Yeah.
The nanites eat the powered up power cell, and they grow to be enormous, power-hungry nanites. Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah. Well, at least we have a cool name for them. I love Glumpus that Rutherford comes up for. It's adorable. Glump is a fun word to say. Glumpus. I mean, it sounds like it's unintentionally destructive, right? And deadly, which is kind of exactly what this is. They're unintentionally destructive and deadly. It's a perfect name.
I also like how the nanites jump to destroy the "Pardon Our Nanites" sign as they're leaving the building.
I know. Well, it makes sense later when you realize that the nanites are more than what they seem, but yeah. Well, the whole nanite animation was really fun. Like from when they started the little sparkly things that you see. I mean, that's a Trek trope right there. Sparkly things going into walls and coming out of vents and all that. Even my girls know that. Like we've watched Cost of Living enough. There's sparkly stuff that goes and becomes bad stuff. Like we know how this works. But
the higher, the fewer.
That ends arguments for real at my house. Like, because it will make you laugh. And then you can't be quite as mad if you've laughed like that.
I like it.
Just don't eat your worlds.
Or pop people's heads in bubbles. Like, a little rough. Ew. Anyways, but I loved the animation. And as they got bigger, you could see it changed. And even like the size of the sparkles got bigger as the nanites changed, which is really fun. And then like as you see things going through them as they become even bigger and they're like absorbing stuff and they're tossing things through, that animation is gorgeous. Like it really is fun to watch this thing because it never stops moving. And it really does feel like a living creature that is just so oblivious, it doesn't understand that it's being destructive. And that's cool.
Yeah. Well, the animation in Lower Decks in general is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so they chase Glumpus to the concert hall where Talin's favorite musician will be performing later.
Krog on the Rocks.
Krog on the Rocks, who the production team have confirmed is a Brickar.
Yes! I know, I tweeted that out yesterday. I heard the director was on the Seventh Rule, and he was saying that. He's like, it was a little animation shout out to another animation show, and I'm like, oh, it makes my heart so happy. It's like, and that it was another, like, another job you would not expect a Brickar to hold, right?
Yes.
Like you expect them to be doing security and doing these big, strong, and no, he's just chilling, vibing out with his vibe tubes, doing his meditations. Like I love that dichotomy of the look and the expression from the Brickars. I think that's really cool. I hope that continues. And like, it turns out they're all just these really big, gentle giants, like Great Dane dogs. They look huge, like they're going to knock you over, but they really just want to love you.
In the theater before they find the Glumpus and they're talking, and Mariner's just like, how can Jennifer possibly think we're a couple? And Talin replies with, perhaps because you are pretending to be.
She's got the best comebacks this whole episode.
Oh, she does. She does. When they're arguing and that it's coming up behind them, that made me think of the slime in Ghostbusters 2. When the Ray was reacting to the arguing. I know that's not what was going on, but that was my first thought seeing it. I'm like, oh, it's the mood slime.
Yeah, it was definitely an intimidating presence coming up from behind, for sure. But I got to go back to Krog on the Rocks for a second, though, because I love that Talin is having her fangirl moment, and she is so us. Like, because we know how much Lower Decks loves Star Trek, and to watch Talin love Krog the same way, and she for her to admit, I can't focus because I'm in proximity to like something that touched the person I'm admiring. Like, she's a wild Vulcan. She's just as rogue as Mariner is for humans. They're so parallel that way, and I love to see this moment where she is overwhelmed by being a fan of something. That's just and to show that everybody is cool with it and they love her for it, and it's just another part of who she is, because that's just a nice nod to all of us out here who sit on Sunday afternoons and talk Star Trek with each other.
And it's nice that it's not something Vulcan.
Yeah,
like it's not like, oh, this was one of Sirach's notebooks. No, it's a rock star.
Yeah, exactly.
A literal rock star.
A literal. Didn't mean to do that, but yes, beautiful.
Well, and I love that we finally get a name for the vibe tubes that, like, all the way back in We'll Always Have Paris and TNG that are just like this background thing. That is such a Lower Decks thing to do, to bring some tiny little random detail and make it a focal point of the plot. Like the vibe tube saved the day. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Speaking of which, once the Glumpus has obtained enough power, it turns into an icosahedron, which
Math for the win.
Yes, is very reminiscent of TOS. What is the name of that episode?
I always forget that one.
When the aliens from the Andromeda Galaxy hijack the Enterprise and turn the crew into small icosahedrons.
Yeah.
I never remember.
I don't remember.
Everybody frantically hits their buttons.
Yeah.
By any other name.
There you go.
So those were obviously smaller icosahedrons, but they're the same color, so it's very reminiscent. And I'm sure, just sort of a geeky thing, the fact that it is the same as a D20 is not is certainly part of this as well.
Well, and then I know we're not talking about this plot, but when Ransom grabs Boimler, he tells them that they're going off on a side quest, which is another D&D thing. So like we're just getting the love all throughout this episode for those type of adventures.
Yeah, I appreciate when the icosahedron is chasing Tendi, Rutherford, and T'Lyn. You actually do see for a split second as she is being pulled into the icosahedron, T'Lyn's eyes actually do open wide.
That's cool. I hadn't noticed that. I am going to look for that now, though.
I hadn't either.
It might only be one frame.
Wow.
Well, okay. Did you notice that later on when they try to throw like the net in, the magnetized net to catch them, that the net mesh is in delta shape?
Yes. Because Starfleet can't help themselves.
Yes, exactly. And then later on, somebody on Twitter was posting it, and I was like, yes, thank you. I am not the only one who noticed the branding. I mean, we should know. In Prodigy, when they're screwing screws on the protostar, the screw shape is delta, but like, it was just funny. I'm like, amazingly consistent branding.
Well, and never forget Chang's screws in his eye patch. Yeah.
Yep.
It would be weird if they had deltas on them.
It would be.
I just appreciate that amount of detail in an animated show. Like, those things are thrown in there. They don't take away at all if you don't get them, but if you do, they make it so much better. Like it's the Trip Tucker sprinkles on top, right? Because all those little bits.
Yes, it was.
So the icosahedron is now rolling through the town, and it first rolls past Krog, and then comes back for him, and he doesn't get to eat his ice cream.
Ugh. That is a tragedy whenever somebody doesn't get to eat their ice cream.
I know, right?
And you know what's funny is as it's rolling through town too, it's making these like funny little dents in the walls, which is like the shape that a 20-sided something would make as it dents the walls. And you see the people like reacting. And I loved watching all the interspecies couples back there, like grabbing hands and clutching onto each other, and like all the different ways that things were represented. I'm like, this is so little and subtle, but this is for everyone going, oh, well, Discovery is so woke. Wait, have you watched Lower Decks and seen like, okay. And I appreciated that. Like, it's just thrown in there like it's nothing because it should be.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, it is after the first season. Actually, Sue from Women at Warp called the show out in one of her reviews as aggressively heteronormative for the first season.
Wow.
And Mike McMahon actually publicly said that he took that to heart. And that's where we got Mariner and Jennifer in season 2, actually.
See, but that's amazing then.
Yeah.
Good for them for responding the right way. And if you don't realize that you've done something like that, to go out of your way to correct it, you can't ask for better. Because we're only human after all.
Yep. Speaking of Mariner and Jennifer, they get stuck on a palm tree and finally have the heart-to-heart.
And I love it that it turns out she was just messing with her the entire time. Like,
perfect.
That is absolutely somebody who Mariner would actually date, right? It's so perfect. And I like that, you find out she just wanted some closure. And this is where you see that growth in Mariner. Like, she probably still would have been flippant if she hadn't gone through everything she went through in season 4, but she's had some of that time and some of that processing, and she does it as best she can the right way, and realizes that, she was hurt, but it was double-sided there. Like, everybody in this was hurt, and that it was valid to be able to give the other person what they needed. And I love Jennifer, like, oh, I'm not mortal enemies with an X for once.
Yes.
Like, that's just what a healthy way. I mean, it wasn't healthy to pretend all day and all that, but eventually it got them to the conversation that shows that this was important, and it honored and validated the feelings of both people involved. And that's nice to see. And all of this happens in less than 25 minutes. And we haven't even talked about the other plot yet. So, like, how brilliant they are that this writing is so nuanced, concise, and targeted, yet at the same time so funny and beautiful. Like, this is talent. These people deserve more time to show stories like this, because they're bite-sized bits of happy morality.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week, because the second episode had 3 plots, and they were all given enough time that we could really follow them in a 25-minute episode. Yep.
Kind of amazing.
Yeah.
That speaks to good writers and good editors and good directors. When you're doing this in animation, you have to be even more precise, because you don't get retakes. You're drawing.
You can redraw, but yes.
Well, true, but yes. And while we're up in the palm tree, I just have to say I like the fact that they were kept sliding down the palm tree and having to hitch themselves back up. Like, the little bits of realism thrown in there are what makes it funny. Like, they're slowly sliding down, hitching back up. Like, it's just fun. Details.
So Mariner and Jennifer do deliberately enter the icosahedron and present the vibe tubes to T'Lyn, which, by playing the correct frequency, makes the whole thing fall apart.
Yep.
And interesting, because Krog is in there too, and they don't give him the vibe tube, so it must be because she has to play them.
She has to play it at exactly the right frequency. Yeah. I guess it's because Krog plays them artistically. She plays them,
Mathematically, that's a good way to put it, yes. But, okay, that animation, again, to talk about how cool the nanites are, when she's vibing on the tubes and it's breaking them up and they're starting to come apart, and, like, then they all rush out like the end of a water slide, and you get to see everybody coming out, and then here comes T'Lyn with, like, the tubes. Like, it's just...
And she's keeping the standard Vulcan face. Yeah, it's great.
Yes, it's a wonderful little piece of animation. It's... on my pod, Chris and I talk about moments you don't look away from in an episode, and that will be a moment I will never look away from in this episode, because it's just so fun and it's pretty. It's fun to watch, and it's neat to see, and it's unusual. So that's a good moment right there.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. So Mariner and Jennifer have worked it out, and T'Lyn and Krog are friends now, because Krog has always admired Vulcans.
Well, that's just such a moment right there, when they get to have that little, like, honest conversation, and she starts off by apologizing for being presumptuous enough to touch his vibe tubes, like, and he's fine with, like, it's beautiful and it's heartwarming. And then when she gives him the Vulcan salute, like, my heart for her is, I know, my heart for her is just full. Like, this is one of those moments that we gush about when we meet somebody who we admire, and to see T'Lyn, and she's gushing as much as T'Lyn ever gushes. And it's, it just makes you happy for her, because we've all had those moments, and it just, that's endorphins right there.
And I also like that Krog talks about how he practices logic in his ongoing quest for inner chill.
See, this is why I think Brickars are just big, squishy, everybody's got to love each other and take care of each other kind of species. At least the ones we've met so far.
And now we find out that the signal from the nanites is actually coming from a very tiny Intrepid-class starship.
Yes.
Who's been through a month of hell.
But not a month.
That joke was perfect, because that Mariner, a month?
And Mariner, a month?
I know.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
all of us are just laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that captain had like the different comm badge and the different uniform, just like that little continuity again, the details are made for people like us who are going, that's great. And the rest of the world is like, oh yeah, it's funny. They're the size of an amoeba. Like, yeah, the millions of layers in this show.
So yeah, they're from yet another alternate universe. So we are stacking those up this season. And now's a good time to go back and talk about what Boimler, Ransom, and Billups have been up to.
Yes.
So yeah, they're tracking down an admiral who's gone AWOL and wanted to stay on vacation forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chrissy, you made a good point at the beginning. In this universe, this post-scarcity universe where no one is required to work, why is it such a problem that this admiral has decided to not come back to work?
Well, I can see it's a problem if he's supposed to be somewhere and nobody knows and he hasn't actually retired. But it's not like he couldn't turn in his resignation that day and be like, I'm going to live in a vacation planet the rest of my life because
why not?
I can.
And I feel like with his last communication to Starfleet Command telling them to shove a coconut up their butt is sort of implying that he did try to retire.
Yeah, I mean, I would take that as a letter of resignation and just go from there.
And I love that it was Billups that said that, because the way he says it, just in his Billupsy kind of way, told him to shove a coconut up their butt. Like, it's just made it that much funnier. Or should I call him Gilbert's Manhandle?
Yeah, Billups wants to be Gilbert Manhandle, but
Gilbert Manhandle with a gambling addiction.
But you got to be something normal like Zandy.
So Ransom, so Ransom. I am really gonna miss having Jerry O'Connell deliver Ransom to me on a regular basis, because he's so good at it. Good at it.
My only complaint with Jerry O'Connell's delivery as Ransom is that in this episode he mispronounces Denobulan and Cretacean.
See, okay, that's what I thought he was doing it on purpose. Like, I really thought that they were making that like a Ransom thing to go through, because he did. He mispronounced, and that grated on me right away too. And I was just like, hey, wait, what? And so I thought they were making it purposeful that he was saying them wrong to try to like act like he didn't know what was going, in case somebody was listening. You know, he was I'm not Starfleet. I don't even know how to say Denobulan or however he did. Yeah,
he said Denobulan.
Denobulan, that's right. So, yeah, I noticed that right away, too, but I thought it was a Ransom thing.
I don't recall how he pronounced Cretacean. I just know it was not correct. But in this bar, we see for the first time after being mentioned many times on DS9, we see Gallimites. And I really want to know how Jadzia made out with those. Like that, I don't think the faces would be compatible for, that.
I don't know, but I'd want to hang out with them. There's some funky looking aliens though. Like, I can understand wanting to like sit there and have some dialogue. I would be interested to see what happened in the brain as we chatted.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to pull it back up. I forgot that they had like monster teeth.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good question.
I suppose we don't know that she made out with them. We just know that she hooked up with one. So they could have just gotten straight to business, I suppose.
Well, and who knows where their genitals are? Like,
that's also true.
This could be very different than what we are all picturing in our heads right now. I mean, Ferengi like the ear rubbing the umax. So, this could be very, very different. Maybe they're something with the transparent skull. I mean,
maybe.
Who knows? But while we're talking about crazy aliens at that bar, did you notice there was a Gorn? There's a Gorn behind the bar at a point. He also comes when they're in the lazy river later. There's a Gorn just hanging out.
Yes, I saw the Gorn in the lazy river. I missed the one in the bar.
Yeah.
It's really brief. Again, it's like a one frame in the background kind of thing. But on my second and third watch, I was looking at backgrounds and I was like, there's a Gorn there. Are they having a wedding? Like, it would be a good place for a wedding, right? Gorn wedding.
Do we have a name for the turquoise and purple aliens that keep showing up again and again and again?
No, I don't think so, but they really are consistent in Lower Decks. They're a cool design.
They started, the first one we saw was back in season 2, was the First Officer of the Titan, and I feel like this season we've been seeing at least one every week.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with our alternate universes?
Maybe? I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm intrigued on that, though. I like that being the small through line of this season. It's been fun so far.
I wonder, though, actually, it seems like a lot of the employees of this resort are that species. So I wonder if this species is like is one of their bases or something.
Maybe. I did notice that the same voice actor who did the lady who was on the Dove, the relaxation ship, she is the same voice actor as the one who offers them drinks later on when Boiler wants his spritz. I was like, look at that. The nice calm lady voice. I love that they are going back to some of the same people, or that they use some of the existing cast to voice other voices. Like that's fun. And I think they get extra, don't they? I think that's, or maybe it's one of the things in the new contract that if they do more than one character that has so many lines on an episode, they get a different rate of pay. So
I would certainly hope so.
I would certainly hope so too. So yeah, bring on all those minor characters with the same voice actors.
But speaking of aliens, we have the moment that I'm sure Abby has been dying to talk about.
Oh yeah. Because, eating and drinking is 100% offensive. I can't believe we had to see that on screen. Oh, Cretaceans. I love that Lower Decks loves Enterprise and throws in all these tiny little references. And I love that Ransom knew exactly how to come up to them, and he talked to them in the same kind of weird, stilted, nobody can see me doing this, but he holds his body different and he moves in the way, obviously they've translated some types of common apologies needed for Cretaceans in the past, because he did it exactly the way that Archer ended up having to do it. I mean, he didn't need his chainsaw and the wood and the beads in the hair and all that, but he knew why they were upset and exactly how to present himself and what to say to at least stop Boimler from getting killed. But that was so fun. And I love that they're standing at a bar, playing beach ball. Maybe they shouldn't have been there if they knew that this is where people were going to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but people consume food and beverages in a bar. That's a bad place to be if you're a Cretacean, I think.
Yes, but the fact that they were playing beach ball, and I don't know if you've listened to this one on headphones, but the beach ball sound effect in this actually goes from headphone to headphone, which was really fun.
Didn't catch that. Oh
yeah, it was really fun.
I did notice that because I watched I watched in my home theater setup with the surround sound speakers. So yeah, I picked up on that. It was great.
It was just such a silly little detail. And if I would think of a species less likely to play beach ball, there aren't that many. I mean, besides the big heavy, the Klingons aren't playing beach ball, but of a minor species, it was just one of those wonderful Lower Deck moments where
Klingons would probably play with an inflated Targ stomach or something.
Well, that's kind of back like the pig bladder balloon in Laura Ingalls Wilder again, isn't it?
Yes.
Man, we're making up for last time when we couldn't find connections.
Right.
No, it was just. Go ahead.
I was just, I could see Klingons playing beach volleyball because it's a thing of agility and stuff.
Okay, but maybe not with the brightly colored striped beach volleyball.
Oh gods, no, not all of that stuff.
Yeah,
cannot believe you spiked that ball. You are without honor.
Exactly.
There you go.
Anything that makes that little doink doink sound of a ball is not a Klingon. That's not a Klingon sound.
No,
maybe they'd play. They're not playing kickball either with the big old rubber ball. It's just not happening. They're playing with a lead ball or a spiked ball of doom with poison on it or something.
Well, there we go.
Ooh, okay. Here's what you ask your listeners to send in ideas of Klingon beach games, right? If the Klingons are at the beach, what are they playing? Well, let's always say close is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades. Well, maybe that's what they play on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love the Enterprise love. I know that from the preview that we saw that they're going to be in a detention chamber at some point this season. Like, please bring it on. It makes me so happy. And Enterprise is, I feel like finally people are going back and watching it and realizing there's some really good stuff in there. Is it perfect? No. Is any Trek? No. But it deserves a lot more credit than it's been getting. And for Lower Decks to be pulling stuff like that and from like the animated series as well, like it's just fun. All Trek is Trek, and the fact that Lower Decks respects that and honors that and puts it out there like that is really heartwarming for me.
It's not too late for season 5 to come to Paramount Plus.
Well, if they did it in animation,
yeah,
or I would be happy with a President Archer miniseries.
Yeah, there's just been like a 20-year age gap. Like season 5 takes place 20 years later.
President Archer miniseries,
Exactly.
6 parts. Everybody's coming back together. It's like what happened right before that. We find out we can retcon the whole trip thing because Riker's program had a flaw. He bought it on the black market from Ferengi. Like that's not actually what happened, right? We're all good.
Or he was Section 31, like in the books.
Yeah, we'll make that all work.
Yeah, they haven't told us yet that Connor Trinneer's in the Section 31 movie, but they haven't explicitly said he's not.
I was just thinking that. Yes.
Very true.
How awesome would that be? Oh my.
You would hear my squeal of glee from time zones away. It would wake you up. That would be amazing. Because, it could be both of them. Like, they haven't said Dominic Keating isn't in it either. And he was sort of like Section 31, not like they could come back as some elder statesman of it all.
And I'm convinced that we're going to be jumping timelines or time periods at least a little bit in this movie. So we could have all sorts of people.
That would be really fun.
Bashir could show up. Sloan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still crossing my fingers for elderly T'Pol to show up on Strange New Worlds.
Oh, yes.
That again would be one where you would hear me shrieking. And because she would wear the best clothes. Oh my God. Could you imagine the Vulcan clothing that they do on Strange New Worlds? And then to put T'Pol as like an elder statesman. Oh, I would just be a puddle of goo. A puddle of goo. That would be one that, some of my friends with screeners would have to give me a heads up to have a lot of Kleenex nearby if this is coming. Like, I've had people warn me just like, you're going to want to close your eyes for 5 seconds. You're going to need tissues for this one. Those are spoilers I am not sad about. Like, I would rather know, godforsaken early in the morning when I'm going to be bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
I would think she would look she would probably look a lot like her mentor Valar, actually, as an older statesman.
Perhaps, yes. But they have updated some of that the Vulcan robes in Strange New Worlds to be what they had always wanted them to be in Enterprise. So I would hope for some really good embroidery, some very cool like layering, perhaps socks. We'll better pajamas.
Yeah, but are
not
they wearing
underwear? Is all I'm looking for.
I don't know. I would assume T'Pol is an underwear wearer. We're gonna leave the free balling to Saval.
You knew I had to bring that up.
I 100% am glad that you brought it up. Anyone who's confused, there's on my podcast, First Flight, where we talk about Enterprise, I happen to find a screenshot that shows Saval walking into a room and you can very clearly see his sock and then nothing else on his bare leg. So Thad and I were in quite a discussion with my co-host Chris about Vulcan underwear and Vulcan freeballing, and we decided Saval was, either wearing exceedingly complicated or no underwear under there. So, take your pick. These are the things we think about as Star Trek fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so at the bar.
Yeah, they leave the bar and they head to a Paramount Mountain.
Which is way too funny.
Mm-hmm.
And now they need to get information from the Denobulan, who is about to go down Coward's Gulch.
Yeah. Or so we think.
Yes. And so Boimler is still convinced that they're going to be using him as the canary, as Jet told him.
That is so funny that keeps reoccurring throughout this
Yes,
episode.
and I love this part because, like, anytime he mentions Canary, Billups and Ransom are
so
like, "What are you talking about?" But then, as he sets off on his skis, he's like, "This canary is about to fly." Ransom's like, "Canary?" And Billups is like, "Well, it's hard to think of an animal that's good at skiing."
Yeah, I know.
It's true.
It's true, but I wouldn't go with canary.
I know penguin would be the first to think of, but yeah.
Well, and then even later when they're in the river in the tubes, and he's like, "Tell them I'm not the canary," and he goes, "You're not the canary,
not the canary, you monsters!"
Exactly. What does that mean? They're obviously thinking they're noticing the canary is important to Boimler, but have no idea why.
Yeah, so it turns out Coward's Gulch is just the start of Expert's demise. And here we have our Star Trek VI reference of the episode, where Boimler grabs onto the back of another skier to try not to die, and it turns out that's the guy's genitals.
Yep. I believe I've heard other people refer to them as the ballback species. Oh, well,
okay.
Good.
Okay.
It works.
Well, and it doesn't save him. Like, he has this incredibly, terribly awkward moment and ends up going over the edge of the mountain anyway. And that scream, as you see him, like, roadrunner off the mountain.
Oh, his scream is so good.
It's the first Boimler scream of the season, actually. He didn't scream in the first 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was a good one, and I heard Jack Quaid say that entire scream is new scream. They haven't redone his screams, and that he tries to redo his screams every time, and they're like, "You don't have to. We've got enough of them." He's like,
good.
"No, I'm gonna redo my scream." And like this one, it went on for so long, like uncomfortably long, and then he poofs into the snow, and then he's just like, "Whatever, my bones aren't really ossified. I'm in space." You know?
Whenever I hear about the Jack Quaid Boimler scream, I'm reminded of him recalling the anecdote from when they were recording season 1.
Yes.
And he was, because of COVID, he was confined to a hotel room, and he was recording in the closet of the hotel room, and like the person next door like came to check on him to make sure he was okay because of all the screaming.
Which is so funny.
I love that.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now they're on the lazy river.
Because when he fell, the Denobulan called the Admiral. And that's how they figured out where he was. So, like, Boimler might have screwed up and fallen off a mountain and given them away, but at least they know where to find the Admiral now. Down the lazy river, which is obviously like 2 feet deep after their tubes pop.
Yes.
Like, that was so funny to me when they just stood up. I'm like, yep. There's a lazy river for you.
Oh, that cave is not looking lazy.
Go in there, see if it's a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then, their tubes get deflated, and they are captured by the Admiral's people.
Yes.
Yep.
Taken into the Temple of Dread.
At AWOL Falls.
Uh-huh.
The Latinum Elite guest experience.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny, too, though, that, like, this guy just keeps going back to, like, preferred hotel guest metaphors and reasons, and like, because that is so he's like, of course they called me, I'm a platinum star elite whatever, remember they tell me all this stuff, like that. That's funny, because I mean, obviously after you charge 100 some coladas to your account, you get that status.
And when he talks about how he doesn't want to go back because they have him milking space whales. Yes. Boimler asks, is that Gormaganders or like the Galaxy's Child?
Oh, that was perfect.
I love when Lower Decks just mentions Star Trek episode titles. And like they just go with it. I love it.
Yep. Oh, it's so funny. So funny. And I love that Gormagander is now like just such a thing in all of Star Trek. Like it's perfect. And I love that space whales. I have so many more meanings that you have to clarify. That's fun. Well, and I like that he's trying to convince him to join by saying, well, this stuff is all lame and lousy, and like, why do you care? Like, it's the same kind of lower decks kind of reasoning that we've been seeing for a while. And I also love when you see the Admiral the whole time he's talking with the sunglasses mark around his eyes, because he's so sunburned on this planet that's supposed to know when you don't need sunscreen and you've had enough sun, and he still somehow managed to get the white sunglasses shape in the rest of his red body. Like, as someone who sunburns, like, looking at the sun sometimes, very pale, freckled Midwestern skin going on over here, like, that just, it made me so happy. And I love that Boimler put his sunscreen on, even though this place is supposed to take care of you, because anyone who's, well, yes, and anyone who regularly gets sunburn knows you put it on even when you think you don't need it. Like, that's just smart. That was such a, and such a Boimler thing to do. And then later on, the sunscreen for the win. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's so wiry and slippery.
Use this tactical sunscreen. Reminded me of Family Guy, the greased up deaf guy on Family Guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I like that Boimler knows to play along, like, enough to get everybody out. And that speech at the end of that, when Ransom and Billups are explaining that he wasn't ever a human shield, and they brought him along because he was, you know, he's overly prepared to a scary degree, and Boimler's like, oh, you noticed. And he used his wiry self not to crawl through ducts, which is, you know, 90% of the undercover missions, but to slip out of stuff. Like, it was such a Boimler move, and it's fun to see him coming into his own without giving up who he is. And, you know, he can carry that red Geordie pad from his clone or his alternate universe guy around all he wants. He has what he needs. And when he just lets himself do it, you see that. And that is such a lesson. And for anyone who's ever not been at the top and not been at the bottom, he's in the middle now. And he's starting to figure that out and figure out what works for him, and, like, how it works for him and when to lean into it. And that's growth, and that's part of life. And that's one of the things I really like about, as they are not, you know, ensigns anymore. They're all starting to come into their own in different ways. And that is such a good story to see represented. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so this Admiral is now going to be assigned to try to help that tiny ship,
amoeba ship,
to get back to where they need to go.
And he has somehow gotten rid of his sunburn once he's back on the Cerritos, which
not
he looks
entirely.
Well, not entirely, but it's not bright red anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like how she's like, Admiral Milius, you exist in my dimension too, but there you just milk whales.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, that's not the case here. Poor guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, this tiny ship is still here, right? And, like, we've had many pieces of other universes that are not that far off that are still here. And that's an interesting thread. We're 3 of 10 episodes in, right? They're dropping breadcrumbs. We know that is massively intentional, because it has been every other season, and all these little pieces are going to come back and come together.
Yeah, and we have that scene in the trailer of all those Harry Kims together in a room.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I am waiting for that one.
You're all still ensigns.
And I think it's what a way to, like, have an ongoing thread throughout the season. So, like, I heard Mike McMahon say, you drop into this season, there's going to be one of these, so you kind of know where you are, and they're important, but they're not vital all the time. But it kind of gives you some grounding, and it is a way, when all these universes are just that little bit different, to show, you know, the what ifs. It's almost like that old movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, where you make one. Movie. I love that movie too. You make one slightly different decision and it changes the path of your life. And to see, you know, for Mariner to have seen herself when she was too intense, for Tendi to have had her chance to pirate and come back, you know, for Rutherford to see what happens without, like, for Boimler to see himself confident. All of these little things are just kind of pushing them to make their own choices their own way, because they're seeing a different outcome. It's that little peek into not even the future, but into a different version of you. And that's powerful. And I have a feeling it's coming back later on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And finally, we end with T'Lyn now has an autographed picture of Krog on the rocks. That she is going to
face this image.
She's going to put it in her quarters in case she needs to study handwriting in the future.
Makes
That's
perfect
so
sense to me.
sweet. And that's such a Tendi thing to do, to bring to her, you know, to just think about that. And it's been interesting to see Talin's relationships with the other Lower Deckers this season that are different. I mean, that her going and finding Rutherford and rebuilding the shuttle, and when she drops that piece, like, that was perfection. But for her to say, you know, I've been noticing that you're not okay, I want to do something about it. And then when she's telling Tendi, you know, despite the increase in screaming here, your presence back has been, you know, positive and delightful. Like, she is. Like, she's really interacting with all of them differently because she's one of them now. And to see all these little bits of that, and to see them, you know, bringing things that will make her joyful back, and that relationship is just growing. And we better get more than just 5 seasons. We better get a movie or a something, because I want to see more of these interactions. I want more Talin. I want more of all of them. I want to see her quarters later this season and see that picture up on the wall, or like propped up on the desk or something, which, you know, is possible. Oh, yes, that would be fantastic. And I love that she's obsessed with something that isn't like Vulcan. It's just, it's so her.
Yeah.
She's in the right place. You know, she's the rogue Vulcan in the right place.
It's awesome.
Well, I don't want to end on a downer, but the one little thing I missed in this is that we didn't see any Captain Freeman. We didn't see any Shax.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't see any Dr. T'Ana. And, like, I guess I always like the episodes the best when we see a little bit of everybody. And I know they are the second tier of cast in this, and that's fine. But I want some juicy parts for all of these characters in this season. And I know there's a limited amount left, so I kind of just, even if there had been one bridge scene or something, just, it makes it feel a little more complete to me, because I want all of them all the time.
We did get a Freeman log voiceover, so.
Oh, that's true. We got a log.
You know. But yeah. Didn't see.
But I'm sure we'll get them probably next week.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, I know when they were writing this, they didn't know that this was the end until right before the end. So they weren't thinking about it like that. And and I'm probably only thinking about it that as much because I know that it's the end. And I'm looking for little bits from all these characters in all these episodes, because I know it's coming. So it is what it is. It didn't make the episode less good. I just miss them when they're not there. And that's a compliment to those characters more than anything.
All right. Anyone else have any other thoughts about this week?
Was Boimler drinking blood wine at the end?
I hope so.
It looked like it.
Yeah, it was in like the mug, wasn't it?
Kind of strange for him.
Maybe that's something that was in the pad from alternate.
I was going to say his counterpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he is drinking blood wine.
Well, Bold Boimler shows up again.
Yep.
Well, Mariner and Ransom are drinking something blue, so that might be Romulan ale. And they're using, I noticed Mariner and Ransom are using the mugs that they had in 10 Forward in TNG. The
weird bottom ones.
Yeah. The ones that, the ones that were, one of them started leaking in, I think it was Hollow Pursuits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we are the nerds looking at the dishware.
Because, you know, we all have the Boimler, the Bodum cups ordered.
Oh yeah, that is a thing. I don't think we managed to talk. We've talked about this because it got announced during our hiatus. But Master Replicas is making Picard's tea mug.
That's amazing.
I have ordered a set. They're coming in sets of 2, and I have ordered it because I cannot resist Star Trek dishware.
Oh, yeah. I had a set of these in the 90s that I got from, you know, a Bodum store.
Nice.
Or a store that carried Bodum products, and they're long gone. But, yeah. So I got to order a set of these.
They look delicate.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And very small. Like, they'd work for, like, espresso. But, like, they don't hold a lot.
Yeah. The one I had back in the 90s was actually a proper, like, an 8-ounce cup.
Oh, nice.
So I was kind of hoping it'd be that, but they don't look like it.
Well, anything's better than nothing, I suppose, when it comes to Star Trek merchandise.
Yep, and they're not like the Who's making the phaser that... Oh, that's Factory Entertainment that's making the Strange New World phaser that's like several $100.
Oh,
Ew.
yeah.
Yeah, no. No.
They're affordable. I don't remember what the cost was, but it was not a lot because I didn't think about it before I ordered it, so it must not have
Oh,
been
the
that
cups?
bad. Yeah.
I think they're 40.
Yeah.
35 or 40 for the set, yeah.
Well, when I grow up and get rich, I'll have all the Star Trek stuff. But I'm working on that growing up and getting rich part still. It doesn't seem to be doing it.
I never plan to grow up, and I'm certainly not rich, but yeah. If I were rich, I would be buying that phaser.
Yeah.
Well, Abby, thank you so much for joining us to talk about Star Trek Lower Decks. Where can listeners find you online? Do you have any work you want to mention?
Well, as I alluded to before, I do a Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch podcast with my fabulous co-host, Chris. It's called First Flight Pod. You can find us on all the places that you get podcasts. And on the socials, we are everywhere that you could think of, even Threads. Somebody found me on Threads the other day, which was kind of impressive. And the Mastodon seems to be having a resurgence as people leave Twitter. So find the pod, First Flight Pod, on all of the social places. And if you want to find me, I'm Abby M. Sommer, Sommer, not like the season.
All right. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not avoiding your responsibilities?
You say that as I'm supposed to be doing some more grading this evening. In addition to Heritage Diversity, of course, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the BQN, another responsibility. That's a twice-weekly history short podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. Also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook, and I'm on the various socials as the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics. Right. Thad, where can people find you when you're not learning to play the vibe tubes?
Best place to find me is on either Twitter or Blue Sky, where I'm at Tyrannicus. That's Tyranicus. You can also hear me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl called License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C, like the British do it. Where we started out talking about James Bond and then just talked about other things that we watch. We are about to start a series on Columbo.
That's a big bite right there, but I'm excited to hear you guys
episode. We're doing an episode for every episode of Columbo. It'll take us a while.
Hey, it's good to have long-term goals.
Every time we think we're done, there's just one more thing.
Exactly.
Well, that means that you're enjoying it. And that's the real point of podcasting, at least for me, is that I get to have conversations about things that I enjoy. And if other people enjoy listening to it, bonus. Yep. But if not, I had a good time doing it.
I mean, if I didn't enjoy this, I wouldn't be doing it because we don't get paid.
It's work. Exactly.
No, it is.
Hey, now you get screeners, though. So that's a nice little...
Yes,
like I said last time, nobody sends me screeners on Enterprise because it's long.
Hey, but if they ever do season 5, you might.
Perhaps.
There you go.
Perhaps. When, that magic carpet flies in with Jolene and Linda on it, we'll talk.
Well, don't forget all the other great shows here on the BQN, and here is a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin, and a guest, as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissie and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Calvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we will be talking about the 4th episode of the final season of Lower Decks, A Farewell to Farms. Until then, we bid you peace and long life.
There better be raisins.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our... Pardon me, my doorbell rang. It's a freaking canvasser. I swear to God.
It couldn't happen in the 40 minutes when we were just chatting.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah, well.
I am already voting.
Oh, no.
Do you have a plan to vote, Thad? I think you might need one.
Have you seen the movie Iron Jawed Angels?
No, I don't know that.
No,
you should.
Okay.
It's awesome.
But put it on your list. It was made for HBO. It's about Alice Paul and the vote, and the 19th Amendment. But there's this scene where they have a montage where they're going to the various senators, and the one guy opens the door. He says, "I'm with you. I'm for it. I'm voting. Now leave me alone."
Yeah, that's basically.
Well, but the reason to answer the door today, even if it was a canvasser, is because LeVar Burton is canvassing in your state all weekend, Thad. So it could have been him.
Okay, I would have been like, Mr. Burton, would you mind terribly coming in and saying a few words for the podcast I'm recording right now?
With, like, one of your biggest fans in the entire world who's gone to meet you twice, both massively pregnant. Because I told my babies to stay in because I was meeting LeVar Burton again, so you better stay in.
LeVar Burton was massively pregnant when you met him?
Yeah, go figure. That's the episode that was lost to time.
So Enterprise was Unexpected was an homage to that lost TNG episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Completely off topic, but speaking of things that get referenced everywhere else, I watched The Silence of the Lambs for the first time yesterday.
Oh.
And
It's pretty good. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But, like, that gets referenced in everything.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had a lot of trouble reconciling the fact that the serial killer was the same guy who plays the police captain in Monk.
Yes. I had trouble with that too. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're like, wait, what? And then you can't help but see, like, oh, that's proto Dana Scully. Like,
Oh, for sure.
down
Yes.
even
Oh,
to
yes.
the hairstyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is not a bad thing. That makes sense, but it's still like, oh, okay.
Well, it's just 90s FBI agent hairstyle.
That's
There
true.
was a lot of that here in general, not just FBI agents in the
Yeah.
90s. Like, it was not the best time for hair in general.
And
Yeah.
there is a Star Trek actor in that. One of the cops that the cop that Lecter steals the face of, was one of the hippies in the
I
TOS
love it.
episode Way to Eden, and then also was in the DS9 episode Little Green Men as one of the officers.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. I know
That's
who you're talking
fun.
about. You know what would have made that perfect? If he'd played one of the phage people.
Vidians?
The
I
Vidians.
can't think
Yeah,
of
that would've
Vidians.
been
Yes,
great.
thank you.
The wheat to put in the wall.
There we go. Just like
Yes, there we
the
go.
wheat wasn't growing in the wall, to be clear.
No.
But it was there as seed wheat. That's why he was hit it. So yeah, this works.
Okay, that's 100% my favorite Lauren Goes Wilder tie-in that we've done in all the years.
Just that's beautiful.
Honestly, the wheat
That
in the
was
wall
beautiful.
is one of my favorite little like things that happens in that entire
yeah.
series.
There was the year that we got like 18 feet of snow out here. It was like 2002, 2003, and the Midwest just kept getting socked by huge amounts of snow. And there was a piece on NPR, just like one of the little like essay pieces, and they were talking about 10 things that you need to know when you've been stuck in multiple blizzards throughout a year. And they're all like normal, regular things, like make sure you check your dryer vents so that you're not venting all that back into your house, make sure your chimneys are clear, like all the basic tips of survival. And then like number 7 is, if you're really desperate, tap the walls and check for wheat. And then they just move on. And I died. I was driving and I'm like, oh my God, I get that. And I was such a nerd. Like, I almost crashed. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, that is such a niche reference, but it is so perfect. And it was just thrown in there like nothing. And I was like, that's the best.
Beautiful.
That's the best. So, whew. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And this is why this is fun to listen to, you guys, even when I'm not on, because this kind of stuff happens.